Greetings, everyone. Hi, Bumpus. How y'all doing today? Happy Tuesday. Today is the day that Mars rules, and I just wanted to come in and have a conversation about some of the things that are moving through my reality right now. I'm so grateful that I have been able to study and find time to relax so that I could get some clarity. Many years ago, I started asking myself questions about my reality. Like, as a child, I was so aware of the suffering in my environment. I was so aware of the fact that I was surrounded by people who were deeply sad, depressed, and often masked it with, drinking and partying and Jesus. I grew up very much like I just watched that show, They Cloned Tyrone. I grew up in that kind of environment where there was a lot of drug abuse, addiction, people in challenging relationships. Like, that was just how it was. And that was very peculiar to me. I just didn't understand. I was like, what is happening here? Why is everybody so sad? Why is everybody so sad? I didn't get it. And so I just started asking questions as a very young person, like, what is happening here? And then I had to go through my own sort of initiation into life so that I could see what was happening, so that I could actually experience it, so that I could understand it from an intimate level. I had to go through my own experiences to do that. And what those experiences looked like were having my father die when I was 13 from he was murdered, and having, my mother being a prostitute and my father being a pimp, and watching both of my parents go through severe addiction, and then growing up in poverty. And then, so I grew up in poverty in Watts, but then I went to school I went to a magnet school. So I got to see the contrast. I got to see the contrast of Black people who were in deep suffering, and then the contrast to Black people who were like middle class, and maybe their suffering wasn't as acute. Maybe their suffering was more, maybe they were less aware of their suffering because they were more assimilating into the culture, because they had middle class jobs and they could work and buy homes and, maintain family systems and all that sort of stuff in ways that felt like what the culture expected. But even that, to me, I was aware that even in that, most of the environments that I was in with middle class people were making their happiness and peace of mind be about, like, Jesus, some external thing, or the fact that they had a lot of money, or, things like that, to me, that still felt very much connected to white supremacy. And what I would see was that these families would come under some sort of stress, and they would collapse. Like, they couldn't really sustain, like, they had these profound relationships with God, but everybody was sick, right? Like God is everything, but everybody's body is breaking down. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't real wholeness. And so I started to study that. Like, why do people have illness and all that sort of stuff? And I started to realize it's the culture. Like, the culture is doing something to us. As it felt so specific to Black people initially, but as I started really studying, I realized that it feels like it's doing something to Black people, and it is, but it's also just draining everyone. And so that's where we've come to now. And so I'm in this place in my life where I realize that I've been watching this all along, like what's happening in our country and in our world. I've been sort of in this deep internal awareness of it all of my life. And today, and where we are today, and especially in a Black person's body, I feel like I made some decisions along the way to sort of clarify my perspective so that because as a Black person, it's almost impossible not to take this shit personally. But in a spiritual experience, you can't take things personally. So I had to choose my spirituality over my race and my gender, because it's impossible to not take this reality personally as a Black person and as a woman, because women and Black people we are the foundation of this system. They feed from women and Black people more than anyone else. So I had to find a way not to take it personally so that I could actually observe it like a scientist, right? And I hope I'm making sense. I hope anything I'm saying is landing somewhere. So as I have observed from the perspective of a spiritual being, not as a Black woman, not as a woman, and not as a Black person, as a spiritual being, like somebody who's here, like just creating space. And based upon all of that, the one thing that I would ask myself and the powers that be is, why is there such a great effort in place to thwart Black people? For what? For what? And as I have observed, this is what I have seen. The whole world, literally in many ways, the whole world is vampiring from us, Black Americans. Also Africa, but Africa for resources, Africa for copper and diamonds, like things that the world needs to really survive, right? So they vampire from Africa for material resources that make the world go around. But then they vampire from Black in America for energy, right? So how does that look? It looks like the prison system. It looks like communities that are like food deserts and all of that. It looks like what happens with the hair products, right? Like the Korean community and how they literally have locked in the hair, and Black people spend billions of dollars on hair, right? So, but none of that money comes back to our community. So that means that we are completely supporting the communities that own these hair care shops. They're not just getting rich. They're creating realities based upon the money that we're giving these communities. They have the medical system with all of the food stuff to keep us dumbed down and to keep us unaware. The dialysis, all of that, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of these are systems that are in place to drain the energy from Black people, because it's happening to us more than to anyone else. And the question is, why? Why is there such an effort? That's the thing I want to know. We don't need to scream about the fact that they're doing it. We know that it's happening. But why is it happening? Why? What is it about us that we can support the world and no money. What is it about us? It's like the music industry. Everything is really about our energy and our. Why is it this way? And let me say this, I don't have the answers. I do not. But this is a major question. Is why are they going through such great lengths to incapacitate us, to drain us, to keep us sick, to keep us distracted, why? Why? Just said, feel you. It's just hard being a spiritual being, doing the human thing when you're living in. Oh, I think you're oversimplifying it. No, that's yeah. Maybe it is, right? I don't think it's designed to be easy, but there are too many things going on specifically towards the Black community. It's not about it just being a spiritual. It's not. There is a reason that there are so many efforts pointed towards us to thwart to make us sick, to make us, and like I said, I don't believe that it's only about us, but I know that there is an extra effort for us because, if it's not the housing industry and we pay more for loans than anybody else, if it's not the education industry, which is the education to prison system, if it's not, like I said, food deserts, if it's not the Korean community totally hijacking the hair thing and all of our money going to them for hair, if it's not, the fact that their dialysis there is a specific target happening to Black people. And the question is, why? 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 I would love to hear your guesses. I would love to hear what you think about it. Melanin, higher spiritual connection. Okay. But what about that, though? What about that? And here's the thing. What about it and what can we do about it? What about it and what can we do about it? Because here's what I'm learning is that energy is the most valuable thing here on the planet. There is nothing more valuable than energy, right? That's why, oil energy, all this sort of stuff, energy. And what they're doing is hijacking our energy. And what I'm learning that when I have more of my energy to use as I desire to use it, then my ability to be more like God comes online. And my telepathy gets stronger. My will grows. My ability to heal my body. My ability to heal. Like everything about me is getting stronger, even as the world says that we are meant to begin to start dying now, right? So I'm 54 years old. That's how many years I've been around. And what I'm discovering is that I'm just beginning. I haven't even peaked yet. But I'm a Black woman. And what I know is that there are so many things in place that would attempt to drain our energy. And because energy is the most valuable thing here. But most of us don't have our energy. Our energy is being drained by things that we don't even understand, like noise pollution, like you can't really sleep at night. The food, the things that are in the food, the energy is being drained by that. Health concerns, family concerns, the way our culture does romantic relationships and this way that we collapse into one another. And all of that, I'm telling you guys, I know this might sound really unbelievable, but all of that stuff is by design. And the design is to keep us distracted, to keep us from waking up to who we are, to keep us from even having a curiosity about what is possible if we had dominion over ourselves. We are completely reliant upon a system that has us entangled in profound ways that drains our energy, that is keeping us from being able to be activated in who we truly are. Knowledge of self, and you will really know how great the deception is that they will keep you away from knowing the greatness of oneself. Yeah, it is knowledge of self. It is. And that is the pathway to it. I'll say that. Knowledge of self is the pathway to it. And nobody can do it for you. But the real thing is, if we don't free ourselves, here's what I want to say. If we don't free ourselves, y'all, if we don't free, and nobody can free us, nobody is going to free us. The whole world is out to get us, okay? And I know that sounds crazy. I don't even say shit like that. But it's true. The whole world is out. We are a people who don't have a home. We really are. We really are, because of how powerful we are. And we are so distracted from that truth and that reality. And if we don't wake up, what's at stake is so great that we would not even consider ourselves this significant. We are a significant aspect of the natural evolutionary process on the earth. As Black, like we hold the God code. We hold the connection to the Most High. We are it, y'all. We are it. Everybody else, like they say, the Jews and the Gentiles, like we are the Jews. We are the real, like whatever that is. And here's what they have done to it in religion has so bastardized it. What they have, this political shit they have going on is just a distraction, y'all. It's just a pure distraction. It is just to keep us thinking that it's them and not us. And that keeps our energies tied up. It keeps us not even seeking our capacity to be who we are here to be. And what we are here to be is not about having a lot of money. It's not about a fucking big house. It's not about, power. It's not about politics. It's not about any of that. It is about our connection to the divine and our ability to help transmute the new energies that are coming on the planet so everyone else can survive. So everyone else can, like, this environment is going to start to really die if we don't wake up to who we are. And we don't even believe that we are that. The level of conversation that we're having about this stuff right now is so low level because it's not about we're the Jews and they're not. It's not about that. That's not what it's really about. It is about our significant participation in the evolution of this system. And as long as we are distracted, as long as we are asleep and unaware and lost and lost in the desert, we cannot do what only we can do, which is be the energy that transmutes the new frequencies into this earth realm so that people can evolve. And this idea, we've been given these very masculine Abrahamic ideas of religion that has us thinking that this one is God and this one is that. All that's bullshit, y'all. None of that don't mean nothing. It means nothing. That is what the masculine brain has come and done to a internal feminine, masculine, balanced way of being. And they have made it this thing that really is meaningless. It means nothing. Everything we see them doing, right? Like what we see them doing in Mecca and all that all that's just man games, y'all. It's all just man games. It's all just, men need things to do. They need something to actively believe in. And we're so distracted, so we believe that that's what it is, and that's not what it is. What it is this power for us to activate the power of God from within us. And it's so necessary right now because the planet is evolving, the solar system is evolving, and we are not doing our part. We're not. And there's so much effort. Like I said, there's so much effort against the evolution of us waking up that we don't even know what we're up to. We don't even know. The good news is this, right? The good news is that nothing is lost. The good news is that nothing is lost. Because the codes are inside of us. So the good news is that I'm waking up. I'm waking up. And because I'm waking up, I'm going to talk about it more, and people are starting to get it. People are going to start to get the responsibility of being a melanated being. There's a responsibility in this. This is not for fun, folks. This is not to be cute and to be, this is for your connection to the cosmos. And everybody needs us to wake up so that we can evolve us. Everybody needs, and all of these very egotistical things that we have going on about it, and these stories that Ma'at, come on down, honey. There's nothing in there. There's no more. There's no more. There's no more. All of these stories that we have going on about the nonsense that goes on in our country and the world, all that shit is just distractions. It was all just a placeholder. It was all just a placeholder for us to get here. We have power and so much inside. They all know. The collective just needs to realize the power, but there is so much shit in front of them. You just need to realize the power. You just realize it. We don't need the collective to realize it. Just focus on yourself, okay? If everyone just starts focusing on waking up themselves, mind your own business, really. Mind your business and start focusing on yourself. The problem is that we focus externally. The problem is that, and that as I have done all of my research, what I have come to is, okay, Monique, now you know a lot. You see it all. Now what can you do? All I can do is come back to myself and be who I am here to be and do my part. I happen to have information, so I share it because I study cosmology and I study astrology and I have wisdom to share. But at the end of the day, I still have to do my own work to wake up to who I am so that I can do my part. And nobody can do that for me. Nobody can do it for you. And I will say, I'm not a doomsday person. I don't talk doomsday. It just doesn't ever feel true for me, is what I'll say. Exactly. We're all in this together, but by ourselves. That's right. That's absolutely right. And it is. This reality is filled with paradox. And that's why this reality is so powerful. That's why those of us here are so powerful, because this reality holds this duality. So for those of us who can wake up in the duality, if you can wake up in the paradox, come on now, come on y'all. I hope y'all can hear what I'm saying. If you can awaken yourself in the contrast, that is the power that needs to be awakened for you to become who you're meant to be. And there is this forest here in the world where I think it's a pine forest, and every couple of years it completely catches on fire and burns to nothing. And then in its burning, it gets so hot that the pine cones then open and seed the next forest. And then the next forest comes. And that is what we're up to. That's why we chose this reality, because it was the reality that we needed to access our power. You need extreme conditions to access your power. I hope y'all can hear me. Yes, you need it to be extreme. You need it to be hot. You need it to be intense. And we are in the fire, and now it's time to wake up. Yes, you needed this reality to activate. Absolutely. Lord, y'all are hearing me. They hearing me, y'all. They hearing me. They hearing me. They hearing me. Okay. Yes. Yes, nothing is wrong, y'all. This is exactly the reality that we needed to wake up to who we are. So, as fast as you can, but here's the thing. You can't ignore your emotions. You can't ignore your pain. You can't ignore it. You have to, and those emotions and that pain and that negativity is where the power is. So you have to go into it. So you have to go into I had to go into the fact that my grandmother was the product of a rape from a white man raping her. I had to go into this stuff. I had to feel it. I had to breathe into it, because that's where the power comes from. Yes, yes. Can I get some amens and some ashes in here? Because now I'm like, okay, yes, thank you. That is it. You cannot get it by being relaxed. You're going to need to relax too. You need to now relax in order to get into it. But in order for you to cultivate it, to grow it, to have it, you needed all of that heavy, dark shit. It all served a purpose. Yes, 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 yes. All right, y'all. So I think I've said enough now. I think I don't need to say anything else. I think that we got it. And I want you all to know how I get this. Like literally, I've studied, and I study the cats, and I was so traumatized. I had so much trauma in my body and in my system because I was so addicted to everybody else's opinions. I was so addicted to the external, trying to make myself feel safe. I was so focused on what's going on out here because I never felt safe inside. So I had to really like commit to my healing. And a part of it was the cats, because the cats, and how I got to that was that I was allergic to cats, and I started having dreams about a cat, and I kept going, God, I can't get a cat because I'm allergic. And one of my girlfriends said to me, people who are afraid of their power are allergic to cats. And when she said that, I just was like, I know she's right. I know she's right. So I had to set a strong intention, and I found the cats, and I got them, and they came, and I healed the allergies. The allergies went away. And then I started to realize that the cats started helping me relax. It was like that's what I noticed. Like they would run through my house really, really fast, but they wouldn't break anything. It was like, because they have control of themselves. They're not, they literally have this feminine power, like they're stealth, but they are stealth and powerful and quick, right? It's this very feminine energy. And I started to see that, and I was like, oh, okay. So I started relaxing, and spirit started saying, like, lower your voice. Don't yell at them. You know, they can hear you. They can. And then I started realizing, I've had them now almost 3 years. They understand everything that I say. Everything that I say. I started using my imagination to talk to them. Started seeing myself in my imagination, telling them things and them getting it and them responding. And then I started letting them out of the house and using my imagination to call them back. But I had to be relaxed to do this. So many of us are we're so tensed, we're so right? Because of all the trauma we're holding. So I had to do all of this healing. And then after healing my family stuff, the she said, all that sort of stuff. Then I had to get into my body and relax. And the cats help me relax so I can hear and get my spidey senses and feel and understand and hear my ancestors, right? So that I'm not so inside. My brain is not so yes, get my nervous system to recalibrate. Exactly. Because I've been around people who are so sad and traumatized and all of that. And now I'm in the process, because I'm at the final stage of it. I have been doing castor oil liver detoxes. And why I started doing the castor oil detox is because I do this thing where I know that the universe is always sending me messages. So everywhere I would go, I would hear these, I would hear mourning doves, right? Mourning doves. And they, hoo, hoo, hoo. And I would wake up to them and I'm like, what is that? What is that? So I looked up mourning doves and Spirit said, grief. You're holding grief in your body. You're holding your ancestors' grief. You're holding stuff that's not even yours. And I was like, and then one of my girlfriends said to me, Monique, you hold your shoulders up like this. You're carrying stuff. You're carrying it. So that just lets me know I'm carrying energetics that I can't even see. So then I started saying, okay, so I started doing heart opening exercises to get my heart open. And then the Spirit said, go to your liver, go to your liver, go to your liver. And the castor oil liver detox. Now, I don't have any liver problems at all. But Spirit said, liver, I started researching the liver. That's where we hold our anger. That's where we hold our suffering. That's where we hold our trauma, in the liver. So now I have been doing, castor oil liver detoxes. And now I literally, the clarity, that the calmness that I'm starting to be able to feel, because I'm releasing the last of it. And just now the evidence for me is always how my animals respond to me. And I just my cats have been breaking out trying to get out of the house, and I just went into the astral field and said, we're going to have a bath, because they were bringing fleas in the house. I was like, we're going to have a bath, talk to them really calmly, and got both of my cats to bathe, because I could just communicate with them clearly. No, I'm not carrying any nervousness, any anxiousness, nothing. Like, the energy is starting to really calm down in my system. And why do I want the energy to calm down in my system? So that I could command reality, so that I can, with calmness, be able to build reality, be able to project what the Creator wants for me to project, not based in fear and scarcity and worry, and because that is what we are here to do as melanated beings right now. And right now we are projecting chaos into the reality because we are asleep. We are projecting turmoil into the reality because we are asleep. We are projecting our fears and disenchantments and sadness into the reality because we are asleep. And I'm telling you, this is beyond you as an individual. This is our cosmic duty, you all, to wake the fuck up. This is our cosmic duty, yes, to wake up, to wake up. And I'm telling you, so that is it. So I just wanted to share that today. I've been doing all sorts of things. And one of the last things that I've been doing is I got myself one of these feet up things so that I could turn my reality upside down, right? By putting my head, doing headstands here, putting my head here in headstands. That just begins to bring the blood down out of, like, to turn reality upside down. You have to understand the reality really is projected from us. So I want to turn the reality upside down. So I bring all the blood to my head, which then begins to shift the circulation and shift my thinking and shift my way of being. And, we have to really understand how it works. So, all right, y'all. I love y'all so very much. We are a profound people. We have a profound responsibility. We have a responsibility beyond, you know, all of the things that we think are important. We have a cosmic responsibility. And so my prayer is that we wake up. Peace and blessings, everyone. Have a really beautiful day. Bye-bye.